How's it going, everybody? We're gonna start talking about Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Okay, so the Longsword is a pretty badass move, and some of the new switch skills are really fun to use and make you feel like you can hit heavy and even counter some of the big bad boys in the game. So, I'm going to show you quickly what kind of combo or set list I use. Step slash, very simple. As well as that, you want to use your round slash. I like to use my silk bind Sakurai. You're going to use your special sacred sheath. So sacred sheath is the primary hit that I'm going to aim for. So there's 3 charges. If you can get your bar all the way up to red, and when you release it, that third attack is very devastating, knocking monsters out of the sky, over, and cutting off tails and stuff. Like, it's very satisfying, and it hits hard. Now, so I don't really mess around with too much other of the combinations. Like, you can do helm splitter and stuff, but I haven't really messed around with that too much. Like, I really like the Sakurai slash, because if you have 3 wire bugs, you can get your gauge from 0 to 3 immediately, or up to red immediately, which is super satisfying. But it's also a nice tactic for mobility, that if you're in front of a monster, you kind of cut diagonally across them. If you have another wire bug, you just diagonally cut across and get behind them. From there, you might be on yellow or red. You build up your status, unleash a big heavy attack, and then repeat and rinse the cycle. What's very satisfying is if you can counter the monster when they're attacking you, whether they're either roaring, AoE attack, or even like a projectile attack can work too. So these counters are really fun if you can hit them. The timing is quite challenging at times. You'll get used to it as you go along, but even sometimes you might miss the monster with your final attack, and that can be quite upsetting, as you'll probably see me do. But I'm going to just show you really quickly how I like to play the game, how I like to basically play aggressively, get in, attack the monsters. In terms of my other skills, I have a lot like evade window, but I've really dumped everything into the likes of paralysis attack, and then making abnormal status attacks build up somehow. So yeah, hopefully some of what I do here can be used to kind of get on and maybe play a paralysis build. And obviously, if you've played a paralysis build and you use different equipment than me, by all means, feel free to drop it into the comments. I'm always interested to see it. The paralysis blade is very fun for stunning the enemy, but the weapon damage is so low compared to some of the other weapons. And then obviously my armor is lower because of the fact that I'm trying to keep quick sheath, as well as all these other skills that really suit to me. So with that, you can also go over to your dangos. You can see here, I like to go for this one here, the beast gem, whatever it's called anyway. But yeah, if you get the level 4 one by using your dango hoppers, you can also use a food token, or whatever they're called, food voucher, and then that really helps kind of, if you're using a paralysis build, blast, poison, whatever, that will just assist. And because it's on level 4, you really get the bang for buck out of it. As well as that, I usually just go either high defense or medic, and that just kind of helps your healing items and stuff like that, and then your general defense. But other than that, if you're up against a big badge, you can go moxie, or just play around, but whatever resistances or strengths you want to boost. So without all that out of the way, why don't we have a little look at some monster hunting? Let's do it. When using your sacred sheath, you can interrupt a roundhouse slash. So when you use your roundhouse slash to fill up a gauge, rather than let your weapon naturally sheath, you can interrupt that sheath by using the B and Z or button. Okay, what that's going to do is it's going to sheath it. Now if you hold that down, it will charge and waste all of your gauge. So if you're on red, it will drop down to yellow and then down to grey eventually. Also then, if you just tap it, so if you just hold on to it and don't let it drag down any of your gauge, it will just let you keep your weapon out, so you don't have to keep sheathing and then redrawing your weapon. You can naturally use your roundhouse slash, get up a gauge, interrupt the sheathing action by using sacred slash, then continue on a barrage. If you have wire bugs, continue the wire bug assault. If you need to rebuild your gauge, it just means that you have less lag time between taking out your weapon again. So just a tiny little detail, not too many people have talked about that online. I use this non-stop, okay? It also gets you in the habit of preparing your counters and trying to get your timing down. But if you can just like finish off with the round slash, interrupt it with Sacred Sheath, don't hold it for long, don't let your gauges waste down. Naturally, if you're already on red and you want to charge down and hit the final smash on your target of choice, then absolutely get stuck into it. But again, this is just some general tips and tricks. Use the Silk Bind Sakurai to get around your opponent, build up your gauges, and then use your Sacred Slash to finish off the job. If you're only using 2 wire bugs, you'll notice that it's handy to have round slash in there, and then obviously if you're interrupting your sheath at the end of that animation, then that will also just let you go straight into your sheath, or if you want to just continue to the attack as well. So hopefully these tips have helped a little bit more. So thank you very much for listening to all of this, and if you enjoyed what you've seen, feel free to subscribe, leave some comments down below. I have lots of random videos up on my channel, like AMVs, moving comics, and then training videos, and just such weird, unique stuff that you should never see mixing together. But again, that's just how I am. So thank you again, and enjoy the hunt.